Hey guys, welcome back. Today, there's not much breaking news. Nothing I think will be as successful as yesterday's video, but that's okay. I don't do this for the reasons that might be obvious to others. But anyway, I'll start out with a shout out to this Leet guy. He's got a great channel. Very interesting stuff on crypto and some cool documentaries about money laundering and based folks and the like, and just lots of videos. So I want to shout out to the Leet guy channel. Go ahead and send him a subscribe if you want some cool entertainment. He's got a crap ton of documentaries, just so much content. It'll take me quite some time to get through that. And this is our music for the day. Good songs to listen to. If you've ever heard of Sabaton, they've got good music. I like this one. The Winged Hussars. This is a good, fun little video of that. Anyway, so there's our music shout out, and we've got our channel shout out, and I came across this, and I wanted to talk a little bit about YouTube censorship real quick. There's another Winged Hussar, Simpson style. But yeah, they really, even on a place that, 10 years ago really inspired me on the underlying principles of free speech on the net, but not as much anymore. They kind of kill stuff when it's controversial, even if it's just a realistic warning. Download all your favorite YouTube videos. Yeah, damn straight you should download all your favorite YouTube videos. I've had YouTube delete channels while I was in the middle of watching through them. Just rip that content right through my fingertips. Before I'm even done watching through the channel, they just delete it right off of YouTube. YouTube is run by freaking censors, cowards who are afraid of information, who are afraid of wrongthink. And so yeah, if you find a YouTube video that you like, download it. There's a billion softwares. You can write your own software. Here's the one I use. This one allows you to do playlists as well. And so, at great expense, I did in fact download Leet Guy's entire channel currently, the price of 30.9 gigabytes, putting another one of my hard drives into the red. You know what? It's worth it to have all those documentaries safe from the grimy, dirty, disgusting hands of the YouTube moderators who are just so ban happy and delete happy cowards afraid of free speech and information. So yeah, unfortunately it's the tragic nature that if you want to watch through somebody's channel, you better download it first, because it might be gone before you can finish it. So anyway, enough with the introductions and the shout-outs. Let's get on with today's news articles. Unfortunately, none of these news articles are from today, because I didn't see anything interesting that I cared to report today. So we're gonna do a couple sad ones, a couple of warnings about violence, and some stories about self-defense and not self-defense, and then we'll do a funny one at the end. We'll kind of make fun of the, well, anyway, we'll save the ending for the ending. No spoilers here. So we're going to start with, and so this one's kind of a progress thing, and this is definitely one of those things where, like, like how I was talking in the other video about how they memory hole shit before it's resolved. They'll just give you the hearsay bullshit version where they well, anyway, we'll just, yeah, let's get right into it. Let's get into the hearsay bullshit. Let's just pretend like this just happened. Let me try and find a date on this article. Probably won't. This happened around 2017. Okay, no dates. That's alright. Maybe the other one will have a date. Anyway, an anti-Donald Trump campaigner has been charged with murdering his Republican neighbor after a series of disputes boiled over into violence. Clayton Carter allegedly shot George Jennings twice in the head after a row, which means a fight. Reportedly, the latest string of confrontations had police called over dozens of times over several years. Happened after an argument about a spotlight, U.S. media said. Alright, here's the bit. Mr. Carter's lawyer said his client acted in self-defense after being threatened with a knife. Okay. Mr. Carter's front garden was filled with anti-Donald Trump signs. Beware of these people. They are dangerous. This is evidence of that. And Mr. Jennings was a member of the local Republican Party committee. So if you are an outspoken, on any side, if you are outspoken politically and you know that your neighbors are politically opposed to you, be on your guard. I don't care what side of the aisle you are on. If you're going to exercise your right to free speech, you would be wise to exercise your Second Amendment right to bear arms, because people will want to kill you for using free speech. Make no mistake. Don't live in some fantasy land where you think your neighbors are just going to live and let live with disagreeing with you. People will outright beat the shit out of you, rape you, and kill you if they get the chance, if you say something they disagree with. That's just the climate of today, or the climate of 2 years ago, of 2017. So just get used to it. If you're not concealing carrying, you probably should be. Double down if you're actually using your First Amendment and not just sitting in silence on the sidelines. And that's kind of, you know, anyway, but it was not claimed that political views were the cause of the killing. Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, so that's the first article. Where this is the first article. My client, where they justify the actions of the anti-Donald Trump. My client, they talk to his lawyer. They don't interview. They interview the neighbors. Our neighbors said of Mr. Carter, we steered clear of him. We were frightened of him because he's so unpredictable. This is the neighbors talking about the killer. And then here's his lawyer. My client says he was justified in doing so because he was under attack by a knife-wielding assailant. And if that was true, if what the lawyer says is true, then yeah. If somebody tries to attack you with a knife, that's lethal force. And you are within your rights to shoot them. Assuming that's true. But let's keep going. Let's see. I'm not going to show his face. I don't show the ugly faces of these peoples. But we will read the headline. Prosecutors say DNA on knife belongs to man accused of killing neighbor. Well, how about that? What an interesting reveal. This guy, Clayton Carter, who shot his neighbor twice in the head, his DNA is on the knife. Well, how about that? What an interesting reveal. Testimony has wrapped up. Here's the date. Testimony is wrapped up in the case against Chester County man accused of killing his next-door neighbor back in 2017. See, this is many years later. They dragged this trial out to 2019. Let's see if I can find a date on this article. I have to. Oh, all right, here. This is recent. All right, here's the writer, and June 12th, 2019. So this is a little bit over a month ago when this article was written. That's how long it takes for justice to be served. nowadays, like years, 2 years. Anyway, here, Clayton Carter says he shot his neighbor George Brooks Jennings in early morning hours of August 8th because he saw Jennings pull a knife. That's the story. Alright, where's the little bit? Okay, here we go. This is where we start to get some juicy details. They will also call a DNA expert in an effort to explain why the defendant's DNA was found on a knife he claims he never touched. How did your DNA...
Alright, I have to apologize for that. I've been trying to record a lot on my old Nokia X2 to save file space on my hard drives. Like I say, they're in the red from me having to back up everything I'd like on the internet to prevent it from being stolen from me and censored away from me. So I've been trying to record only with my Nokia, but you know what, the battery's dying on it, so I've switched to Huawei and we're recording in high definition now. But that's okay. You know, I'm willing to provide you with a slightly better picture and fill up more of my hard drive space faster in order to keep this train moving on. So we're going to keep this train moving on. I believe I had left off by pointing out this nice fact. You know, I like it better when we just, I don't know why I didn't do this before. I like to just zoom in, that way I can get bigger text. And we can really see what's going on here. Alright. They will also call a DNA expert in an effort to explain why the defendant's DNA was found on a knife he claims he never touched. Yep. Okay. So that's the key point I wanted to get from this article. And finally, at long last, 2 years later, let me see. I have to excuse me to try and find a date on this article. Oh yeah, I couldn't. There's no date here, is there? Anyway, suffice to say, the last article before the jury even decided was, you know, about a month ago, June 12th, 2019. We can assume this was recently, in the last month or so. Let's do the little zoom in thing again. Like I said, I'm trying not to show this guy's ugly mug, so you don't have to suffer. Nobody wants to look at people's faces. They don't deserve to have their ugly faces paraded around like some political leader, like some freaking, you know, some Stalin or Hitler or Mao Zedong have their faces paraded around and worshipped. Fuck their ugly faces. Fuck them. We'll call out their names and call disgrace on their names. After nearly 10 hours of deliberation Thursday, a Chester County court jury found Clayton P. Carter III guilty of first-degree murder in the death of his next-door neighbor, George Brooks Jennings, in August 2017. Yeah. So how about that? The jury finds him guilty. So this is no longer, you know, this is the thing about the media. They love to just, you know, report on a case before it's ever resolved. They report on the case and memory hole it. You know, let's just forget about it. Let's just put our spin on it and never say whether the person, you know, was actually found guilty. We're just going to say charges of blank were raised against person and then forget all about it. And forget, you know, about due process or the trial or any of that. You know, they're just like, allegations of blah 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 were raised against this and that person, as if, you know, that's the end all be all. Well, no, it takes about 2 years of deliberation and trials and all sorts of nightmarish hell for the families of these victims before justice is finally served, and the media is, you know, barely even going to report on it. It just as an afterthought. Like, I didn't know that any of this happened until I was tipped off about it today. So this is today's news for me personally. So that's the facts. The jury found him guilty. He lied about it being a self-defense situation. And he cold-bloodedly shot a man twice in the head and planted a knife on him and claimed self-defense. Yep. The dangers of living in a politically confrontational environment. You know, sure, they were arguing about a spotlight. Sure, their political beliefs didn't have anything to do with this. Sure. And of course, I'll just scroll to the very end part. Like, I'm not reading this whole articles, but I wanted to. The last line is kind of rich. The jury also found him guilty of possessing an instrument of crime and tampering with evidence, of course. And then here it is again. Carter told police that Jennings came at him with a pocket knife, causing him to shoot. He said he shot a second time because he thought Jennings might be faking his injuries. Oh, yeah. Anyway, prosecutors said Carter planted the knife at the scene, noting that his DNA evidence was on the knife and Jennings was not. So that's that. First-degree murder. The dangers of exercising your rights of free speech and you know, not being prepared to defend yourself against your crazy neighbors. You know, it's sad. It's sad that this is the state of modern politics, that we're, you know, devolving into basically, yeah, a cold civil war with casualties like this. Anyway, that's this story. You know, at least it seems that justice was served. Let's move on to our second story of the day. Look, I'm not a Trump supporter. Let me just make this clear. I said it in the last video and I'll say it again. Trump is a traitor to the Constitution. He is a traitor to the human race. He is a traitor to the American people. He is a scumbag and he is part of a circle jerk cult. Trump is not your friend, and neither are the Democrats. Nobody in politics is good across the board, from my understanding, from the research I've done, and from the evidence I've seen with my own eyes and heard with my ears. These are the facts, guys. So you can accuse me of being whatever you want, but I'll say it like I said in the last video. Whatever you think I am, I'm not. I'm just me. You can try to push an identity on me. Well, you can suck that identity right down your own goddamn throat. You know, I am what I am. Watch my videos if you want to figure out who I am. Stop trying to box me in. Crazy people. Anyway, but what I'm pointing out right now, what I'm being right now is a you know, journalist of my own life, because all this is breaking news to me. I didn't hear about this in November 2016. I didn't hear about this until today. So this is today's news for me, even though it's old news. That's why I'm bringing it to you guys, because maybe you haven't heard about it either. So we're not going to be showing the video. Y'all can look that up on your own, but video shows group viciously beating a man in Chicago, yelling, "You voted Trump and don't vote Trump." So yeah, don't live in Chicago, rule number 1. Don't live in the state of Illinois, rule number 2. It is a horrible, horrible, horrible place to live. I can tell you that much. I don't know too much, but I know that much. You do not want to live in Chicago. You do not want to live in Illinois. They have no respect for human rights there. It's a center of corruption. I would not feel safe in that state at all, anywhere in the state, especially not in Chicago. Alright, so this started out as a car accident. And black sedan scraped along the side of alongside. So Wilcox. I guess Wilcox is the victim here of this beating. Began when a black sedan scraped alongside of his Pontiac Bonneville, scratching it. So of course, since he's the victim, he's gonna, imply that the car accident wasn't his fault, and maybe it wasn't. We don't know. This is all hearsay from the victim of the beating. I stopped and parked and asked if they had insurance, and the next thing I knew, they were beating the shit out of me, Wilcox told the paper. And there's video of him getting his ass kicked, so we know at least that much happened. He got brutalized by anti-Trump people who had no way of knowing that he voted for Trump. Several men and women threw him in the concrete and kicked him repeatedly, sometimes in the face. Once again, when you're not prepared to defend yourself, this is what happens. If you're not concealing carrying, maybe you should consider carrying a gun or two. The laughing group threw haymakers at Wilcox's head as he desperately tried to crawl and limp back to his Bonneville. The door hung open until one of the young men climbed into the driver's seat and slammed the door. A subsequent video obtained by the Tribune showed Wilcox grabbing onto the open back window of the car as the young man drove off. Wilcox hung from the video, his feet dragging along the concrete as the Bonneville picked up speed. The guy took off. He was doing 70 or 80 down Roosevelt, swerving. He was trying to have me fall off, and I knew if I somehow let go, I was going to die, Wilcox told the paper. Then he slowed down. I was looking at oncoming traffic. He probably slowed to about 45. God was watching over for me. I rolled about 5 or 7 times into the oncoming traffic lanes. Wilcox said he did vote for Donald Trump, but that no one would know that just by looking at his car. He probably doesn't have bumper stickers like me. I do have bumper stickers. I exercise my right of free speech. And if you want to start some shit with me, well, I hope you're ready to finish it. Anyway, Wilcox said he did vote for Donald Trump, but that no one would know this just by looking at his car. He said of Trump, he's blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't care what he said about Trump. Fuck Trump. Fucking traitor. Fucking circle jerk cultist. Anyway. He claimed someone at the nearby bus stop yelled, "Hey, it's one of them white boy Trump guys," during the attack. Yeah, okay, see that. So, for those of you who don't know the demographics of Chicago, and I guess this is what we would call a hate crime. But they're not framing it like that. The scene was very disturbing. And see, based on a man's political preference, when just up here they say it's racially based. How about that? But so, okay, I don't want to fuck with this racialism topic because it's fucked up. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But I've been wanting to do this, so let's do this together. I don't know what to expect. I'm even using Google, the good old censorship happy, left-wing sympathizer, Antifa supporting Google. Let's see what happens. What is the definition of racism, Google? Okay, we can't. Wow. Let me zoom in on it. Alright, we're going to read this the old school way. Racism, noun, prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. I'll just let you guys read the bottom half by yourself. But basically, okay, get this. Even Google agrees that this whole liberal arts college, bullshit definition of racism that racism is only when the prejudice is coming from a position of power. Bullshit line. Like, I don't want to fucking hear that because that's bullshit. Racism is when you are making arbitrary judgments on someone based on their race, the color of their skin, their hair, their facial features, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's a black person being racist against a white person or a white person being racist against a black person. Racism is racism. And I know I'm going to piss off all of these bachelor degree having, liberal arts educated, scumbag, brainlit, mental retards out there, but that's the facts. Racism has a specific definition. Even your liberal, your liberal scumbag Google, censorship happy, fascist, communist, anarchist Google, freaking federal government funded CIA outpost Google agrees with the facts that racism is just racism. There is no power and prejudice dynamic. There is no, oh, black people can't be racist against white people because white people have all the power and black people don't have any power, so it's okay for blacks to be racist. No, racism is racism. It doesn't matter what race you are. It's that very statement is a racist statement because you're giving certain attributes to the black race that you're not giving to white race. That's fucking racist. It's racist to say black people don't have power and white people do have power. That's fucking racist. There's plenty of white people who are totally powerless. And there's plenty of black people who have a lot of power. Okay? So, just cut this liberal arts education, SJW BS. Just stop it, guys. You're wrong. Your own people agree that you're wrong. Okay, so I just had to get that out of the way. And like I said, I don't want to touch this with a freaking 10-foot pole because it's so, stupid and childish that I even have to freaking explain that to you guys. So when they say them white boy, this is now a hate crime. This crime is racially motivated. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if it's a white person saying, fuck you for being white, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you now. That's racist. If a black person says, fuck you for being black and assaults another black person, that's racist. You can even be racist against your own race. Alright? So that's all I had to freaking prove to you guys using your own search engine. Using your own liberal base to prove your insanity wrong. But you're not going to listen to me anyway, so I'm going to move on. Okay? Yeah, anyway. Yeah, based on a man's political preference or views. It certainly wouldn't happen to have anything to do with his race. The reason they assumed he was a Trump voter didn't have anything to do with his race, right? They just telepathically knew he voted for Trump because he was white. Oh, whoops, that's because of his race. Anyway. I'm not going to read this whole article. You can look it up yourself if you care. Ooh, police are investigating. You know what that line means. We're about to get to the end of this article. Oh yeah, I forgot I read a couple ones. This is the end of the article. They haven't found it who done it. No charges have been raised. This guy got his car stolen. Oh, there it is. There it is. According to the Associated Press, no one was in custody for the assault, even though they have video evidence of the assault. Or the Grand Theft Auto. They haven't even found this guy's car. Like I was saying in the last video, how fucked up is it to take away somebody's car, to take away their transportation to work, to take away their ability to help their friends and family with now this guy doesn't have any wheels, he's gotten the shit beat out of him, he can't even drive to the fucking doctor's office to get his freaking death pills to cope with the pain of being physically assaulted. Yep. Yeah, there it is. I have no way of getting my wife to and from work safe anymore. Because his car's been stolen by a racist mob. Tough shit, bro. You know. I mean, I'm not going to be, I don't mean to be victim blaming, but this is 2019, guys. If you're not concealed carrying, if you don't own a gun, if you're not ready to fight to protect your life, don't go crying when you get your shit stolen and you get your ass beat. Because this is a violent time that we live in. And walking around like you're just going to be lucky. Well, maybe you will get lucky. Maybe you won't. Maybe a hate mob's gonna beat your ass for being black. Maybe a hate mob's gonna beat your ass for being white. Maybe you'll get shot twice in the head because somebody disagrees with you politically, whether they're Republican or Democrat. Who gives a fuck? You exercise your free speech, you exercise your natural rights, your God-given rights. Somebody's probably gonna want to fucking kill you for it. So you better be ready with your other natural rights to defend your person and to defend your possessions. Well, anyway, so that's the dark news, that's the bad news. I want to wrap up with something a little bit fun and funny. It's also kind of morbid gallows humor, but let's let's go over this one. Good old CNN politics. Let's see. This is the part I wanted to get to. Well, here, I'll just show you guys the Wikipedia article. All these places are full of censorship and crap, but 2017 congressional baseball shooting. Yeah, some crazy guy did it, perpetrator. James Thomas Hodgkinson. Oh, but you'll love the stats on this. This is another case like what happened yesterday. This guy, deaths, 1 perpetrator. Yeah, that's right. Deaths, 1 perpetrator. And get this. This is the big joke. While firing off at least 70 rounds, most of them from an assault rifle. Ooh, them scary assault rifles with their high capacity salt clips. And he fired 70 rounds and managed to get himself killed by the cops and didn't kill nobody else. I mean, that's something to laugh at. Like, you are a real fuck up, aren't you? And hold on a second. What's his political leaning now? Let's find out. Hodgkinson had participated in the Bernie Sanders presidential campaign. Oh wow, it's a Democrat. It's a Democrat trying to kill people and just getting himself suicided by a cop. Again, he's trying to kill Republicans. He fails. He spins 70 fucking rounds, doesn't kill anybody, and gets gunned down by the cops. I mean, this is just another one of those classic cases of shit. This is, by the way, speaking of breaking news for me personally, I didn't hear about this. Once again, 2017, this shit's like 2 years old, but this is like brand new for me. I didn't know any of this happened. You know why? Because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative of the evil white male conservative. Now how about the evil white male liberal? Who fails at terrorist attacks and gets killed by the cops over and over again. I mean, are we noticing a trend yet? This might be the theme of my channel. It's not, by the way. My channel has no theme, but it certainly could be. There's absolutely no shortage of examples just like this, of Democrats, of liberals, you know, going crazy and trying to kill people. You know, not very many, far and few between are the right-wing mass killers. Yeah, they're out there, but they're far and few between compared to the left-wing ones. They're a dime a dozen, because most of the time they don't kill very many people and they're memory holed by the news. But so we just laugh at them because we just laugh them off. 70 rounds, people. You know, you're so worried about them high-capacity magazines. Why? Why are you worried about high-cap mags when somebody can pop off 70 rounds and not kill anyone with the evil assault rifle? You know, fucking get the fuck out of here, guys. Get out of here. This is so... You know, this is why I said we're going to leave on a light note where we're just going to laugh at the failure of another wannabe mass killer who just got himself killed. We're just going to laugh and that's it, you know. Because, I mean, I'll throw in this little bit, you know, about gun control, and it's a big misdirection, alright? And I had to learn this, like I've said in previous videos, I had to learn everything the hard way, okay? I used to have 2 Calicos. I had a Calico 9mm rifle and a Calico 9mm pistol. And if you don't know anything about the Calico feeds from 50 round and 100 round drum magazines. And let me tell you, it's a piece of absolute dog shit firearm. It is extremely picky and particular and fragile, and it jams almost all the time. And tragically, I did have to sell those guns. They were basically museum grade collectibles, but they served absolutely no purpose. You know, and I'm not a rich person, as I've talked about in other videos, so I can't just collect guns for my own fancy. Every single firearm I own is nothing more or less than a practical tool. I mean, I have like 2 shotguns that I keep around for sentimental purposes, and I guess bird hunting, but I'm not much of a bird hunter, and drone hunting, but honestly, they're not the go-to guns, so if I was attacked by drones, I'd probably be fucked either way. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, you know, I'm not a gun collector. I am a gun user. I use guns to protect myself. I occasionally hunt deer. And, you know, it's a bit of a family tradition. You know, most of my food I get from the store, just like everybody else. I can't afford to eat healthy food. You know, I get my money soaked up every once in a while. I recreate and order myself a pizza. Like, I'm not funded by anybody. I know you might be like, oh, you put a Pizza Hut pizza. I don't give a fuck. I get from Sarpino's as well. I used to work for Papa John's. Shit. You know. Anyway. The point, you know, I might have kind of divulged and wandered around here, but the point is, high capacity is not important at all. I mean, it's important in certain cases. Like with this mob violence, you know, that's when it's important. And the chances of you using a rifle in those situations are very slim. And it's not even high capacity. What you need is what's called standard capacity. Semi-automatic handgun carrying around, you know, anywhere from 13 to 18 rounds of ammunition, maybe 20. You know, I mean, I don't think there should be any laws regulating capacity, because these laws are total misdirection. This is what I was saying about misdirection in these assault rifles. First of all, most defensive situations are going to be with a handgun, not with a rifle. You're not going to have the opportunity, unless if you're defending your home, unless if it's home defense, then you get the joy and satisfaction of using you know, the ideal weapon, which is a rifle. Rifles they have the highest statistical lethality. If you actually want to kill the people you're shooting at and want the best statistical chance, you should be using a rifle. But unfortunately, rifles don't fit into our pockets, and open carry is pretty socially frowned upon if it's even allowed where you live. You know, if you're lucky, you live out in the country, but if you're unlucky, you're one of us city folks, surrounded by, you know, countless people whose political leanings are unknown, and you have two choices. You can shut up and still get victimized just because of the color of your skin, or you can exercise your right to free speech and know you're a target and be prepared accordingly. And so, yeah, I usually carry weapons of a variety of kinds, but one of the most important weapons you want is a pistol, preferably with a double column magazine, or if you're running with a single stack mag, definitely be carrying extra magazines. I believe you should always have a secondary pistol as well, because you never know if your pistol could jam or you could have a malfunction, your firing pin could break. I've seen firing pins break. I've seen squib loads where the bullet gets, you know, because I'm not rich enough to reload my own ammunition, so I have to buy factory ammunition. I've seen factory ammunition squib load where the powder doesn't work properly, and you get the bullet fires but it only goes halfway down the barrel, and so your gun's rendered into a brick. And that's why it's very important to have a second gun, at least 2 guns anyway, and plenty of bullets. Not too many. I mean, I think 20, you know, anywhere from 20 to 50 is a good number of rounds to carry with you. You know, if you're really getting attacked by such a big mob that you're going to need to run 50 rounds and still need more ammunition, then it's probably a zombie apocalypse. Like, I've carried over 100 rounds on me, and I don't think that's bad, but it's fatiguing. And another key of self-defense is mobility. If you actually watch some of the people who are much more serious about it than I am, I'm casual about almost everything, even a casual about self-defense. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been bullseye shooting since I was a little kid with pistols. I can shoot accurately enough, but I'm not very wealthy, so I can't afford the latest technology. And the fact of the matter is, there's nothing on the market that's even good enough, in my opinion. Like, no matter what the gun is, I feel the need to modify it. Even all the calibers that are available are kind of garbage. Nothing's really perfect in this world, but we are always dreaming about it being more perfect. And anyway, so yeah. The trick is they make you think the high cap guns are important, which it's important to have rights to them, it's important to have access to them, but they're not really that important. Most confrontations are settled in 3 rounds or less. In fact, the first gun you draw should be something lightweight, with not too many bullets attached to it. Maybe your secondary will be the high capacity pistol. But your first gun should be something small and light so you can draw it and deploy it as quick as possible. Like, if you have 30 rounds attached to a pistol, that's a heavy gun. You're not going to be able to draw that very fast. Versus maybe 5 shots in a J-frame revolver, or maybe 8 shots in a Makarov pistol. You're going to be able to draw and deploy that weapon very quickly. You know, just some food for thought, guys. You know, so it's bait. They try to ban the high caps to make everybody think that they need a high cap. Well, you don't really need a high cap. You can just run a Makarov and have several spare magazines with you and easily meet the 20 to 50 rounds of readily available ammunition, and, you know, maybe carry a backup gun of a, you know, 357 38 revolver, you know, maybe even some big. You know, I like carrying the 410 45 shot pistols because you can use them to shoot at drones, but I'm just crazy and paranoid. So yeah, you know, what am I likely to carry? You know, double stack pistol, single stack pistol, shot pistol. And, you know, have any combination of those 3 on me at any time. You know, sometimes if I'm just going not very far, I'll even be ballsy enough to leave the house with 1 gun. You know, I can't say I've never done that. Anyway, this is not a gun channel either. This is just me. giving you my 2 cents on things, making really long videos. So take care, guys. Make sure to laugh and enjoy life and live in peace. And don't let all this crap get you down. Don't let it drive you crazy. Don't let this clown world that we live in get to you. Because that's what they're trying to do. That's what they want. They want to make people insane. They want to make people crazy. They want to put people under so much stress that they can't even think anymore. That's their goal, is to shut down your brain. And don't let them get to you. Don't let addiction get to you. Any kind of addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or internet addiction. Diversify your life. Whatever you're doing, make sure to change it up a bit. Don't ever do the same thing for too long, because that leads to insanity and injury. Life is dynamic and full of change, and that's kind of my advice for today. Got to take breaks. Got to take a break to catch your breath, get a drink of water. Stay hydrated, folks. That's key. I said in the last video, you don't need as much food as you think you need. Yeah, that's true. You don't need to eat, but, once every 15 days or so. But water is very important. So stay hydrated. Make sure to drink enough water, because dehydration is the fastest path to insanity and mental breakdown. I'm sure a lot of violence happens because people just didn't drink enough water. So just, be aware of your body, be aware of your mind, be present to the physical reality around you and also within you. And that's the focus for today. With love, for just with love in general. To be one of them limp-wristed fags about it. With love, I am signing off.